What was the plan heading into the game with the quarterback rotation? We saw 3 different guys take snaps in the first half. I would have thought that Garantano would have wanted to come out of the locker room in the second half and get an opportunity to put a little bit more momentum behind that team offensively heading into Gainesville next week, but it was only a limited sample size we got from him today.
It's true. And when we talked about, Taylor hit on it, this is the 7 completions, got the 3 touchdowns. What did we really learn from Garantano? I think the biggest thing, and they said this in our meetings the other day, they said about the 3rd series, and they were true to that in this game, they were going to put in a backup quarterback. We asked which one. They said, we don't know. When will we find out? Well, we'll watch them in pregame. We're not sure what they were going to find out in pregame, but as we learned, they were going to play both backup quarterbacks. They felt like they needed to get some reps. But it's true. It's a good point. The starter in Garantano, he didn't have extended play. He didn't have a lot of runs of passing downs. When you think about it, really, you had the would-be pick, a touchdown throw on the next possession, and then he throws, I think, 3 or 4 more passes on the next series, and that was it. But regardless, it proved to be positive for him because he played well enough, protected the football, avoided the pick, and got it in the end zone a couple of times.
Look, it was a great day today for Tennessee to get a victory, to forget about what's happened the last couple of weeks. But you guys know this. You're going to be talking about it all week. The reality is you go lose to the Gators in the Swamp, then come back here and lose to the Dogs in a couple weeks and 1-4.
Yeah.
Tennessee fans are going to be even more restless than they are now. So the moral of the story today, guys, is keep it going. It's going to be tough, but it better happen.
Yeah, last question, even though I want to go about an hour now that Stinch has a flight to catch, so I'm just going to take a long time coming up here.
Talk all you want.
All joking aside, though, how much of the calculus changed now? With this victory, you've got Florida coming in next up on that schedule. Taylor, I'll start with you. How much now changes for the Vols' outlook?
Well, I think a lot does, because if you look back to last year, Peter, this team won against a top 20 Auburn Tigers team in Jordan-Hare Stadium. They blew a top 15 team out of the stadium here against the Kentucky Wildcats. They proved last year with a deficient roster, a program that wasn't complete yet, they could still beat top 25 competition. What makes you think they can't do it again with more talented true freshmen on this roster?
Yeah, I think it's possible. And Jeremy Pruitt said it best. He said, we should be an ugly 2-0. We're not a very good football team just yet, but we should still be 2-0. And there is no excuses for that. They missed opportunities. They didn't take advantage of them when they were in front of them. So they ended up with a double overtime loss versus BYU and what could have been a deflating and really a season-ending type of a defeat rather in week 1. They fought back. They've battled back, and he said that they've prepared. And when you hear all that, the fact that other than defensive line is the only spot where they should be deficient relative to last year, this could be a pretty good Tennessee football team. We just haven't seen them put it together on the field.
Everybody's going to be watching that game tonight with Florida and Kentucky. You want to know the most unpopular idea I've ever had in television? Is when CD and I went to Lexington, and I said, hey, let's recreate that touchdown pass that you caught in Lexington a few years back.
In Lexington?
Yeah. We needed
been popular.
We needed some security after that one, I think.
I was going to say, I'm going to need it from you after saying that you raked 3-footers earlier. You definitely don't. You put all those out.
Yeah,
hey, guys,
I do.
Great call. And Stinch, good luck on the road. See you, boys.
See you, man.
All right. So let's get some final thoughts here. I mean, you guys saw Tennessee. They came out. You were wondering. A lot of people were tuned in for about the first 15 minutes of this game, even if you weren't a Vols fan, right? Yeah. To see what teams showed up. Does it change your outlook for this team?
I don't know that it changes my outlook, but this was a game, much like Charleston Southern for South Carolina last week, that was big. When you have a bad taste in your mouth after a performance, or in this case, a couple different performances, it's important to come out and execute properly. It doesn't matter who the opponent is, and I thought that's what Tennessee did well today. Yeah. You mentioned it. They started fast. They looked focused, and most importantly to me, this is a much maligned defense for Tennessee. They lined up better. They were able to execute better. They forced 5 turnovers after only forcing 1 in the first 2 ball games of the year, and they were able to get off the field on 3rd down. That's big.
Yeah, I mean, when you play a team like this, what do you look for? I mean, you look for a performance like this.
You look to get right.
That's right, because anything less than that would have been, oh, my God, here we go again, the continuation of all the woes. And if you looked at that schedule, these next 4 games they're going to play with Florida and Georgia and Mississippi State, and I can go down the list, these are going to be physical battles, guys. I mean, you're going to go into this schedule right here, and look, it's a beatdown. So there was no choice. They had to perform like they did today to give them just a little bit of confidence, right? They sit there and go out and listen to everything that's being said about him, but they needed this to go into that
Does this change? I mean, as far as, hey, does this change as far as the getting the 2 losses off, or is that still in the mindset and the psyche of this team, or is that just in the psyche of the fans?
I don't think it changes that, but I think to your point, there's a lot of negativity around the program. It easily could have gone south and just snowballed into a mess there. But I think what Stinch and Taylor were talking about for a minute was last year the fight that they showed under Jeremy Pruitt's first season in Knoxville. I saw some of that fight today, and the fact that they came out fast and focused, I thought, was a result of how that team has bonded in the locker room instead of being torn apart.
It's a 1-week reprieve. Let's be honest now. It's a 1-week reprieve.
But it's better than the alternative.
Absolutely, it is. But the bottom line is when they go into the swamp, they got to deliver. I didn't say they got to win. Now, everybody wants them to win in Knoxville, right? But if you can go in there and fight, if you can go in there and execute, if you can go in there and line up right, if you can go in there and show that you've corrected all the miscues in the first 2 weeks that cost you to lose, then at least it's on the right trajectory. Because right now people are saying, where's this program going?
Right.
You get beat by Georgia State. You get beat the way you got beat against BYU with a 65-yard pass with less than 30 seconds left in the game to basically send it in overtime and then lose it. So it's a 1-week report.
It was fixing a couple of things, right? Takeaways. They were last in the SEC. They ended up getting 5 takeaways this week. They were horrible against third down, 6 of 17.
Yeah.
So those are the things I'm sure that they circled. They were able to have check marks against those 2.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports and analysis, download the ESPN app, and for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus.